Gunfire tore the night. Dirt leapt. Ears rang. Michael Rios slid behind a broken wall. His breath burned. His hands shook, then stilled. The alley smelled like diesel and cordite. A flare hissed overhead. White light washed the rooftops. Shadows jumped. 2 on the left. John said over the radio. Calm voice. Calm aim. Calm death. Copy, Michael answered. A round snapped past his cheek. It felt like a hot insect, invisible and cruel. He pressed lower. The wall chewed into his elbows. Boots pounded stone. A door banged open. A woman screamed somewhere he could not see. Move, Michael said. They surged. Short steps. Controlled fire. Muzzle flash-lit the dust. 1 target fell. Another slipped behind a rusted truck. Michael tracked the wheel well. He waited. He listened. He felt the wind slide down the alley like a knife. The man peeked. Michael squeezed. The man folded. Push to the stairwell, John said. An RPG whooshed. The shock slapped Michael into the wall. The blast tasted like metal. His ears whined. His mouth filled with grit. He blinked hard and saw the stairwell ahead. Their point man was down. Blood made the steps black. John dragged him by the vest. Michael covered. Rounds hammered the wall above them, punching white chips into his hair. Roof, Michael said. We hold the roof. They climbed. Every step felt heavier than the last. The structure shook. On the roof the wind hit them cold and fast. Sand stung their faces. He dropped behind a water tank. Shapes moved 2 blocks out. Too far for the rifles. Not too far for someone else. Where is she? John asked. Top of the tower, Michael said. He looked east. A lone silhouette lay prone on the radio tower. Low, still, patient. The spotter beside her lifted a hand. A tiny light blinked twice. All stations shifted. Michael checked the wind again. He felt it tug his sleeve. He smelled rain that had not fallen yet. The shooter spoke once. A single word. Steady, then silence. Michael watched the far street through broken iron sights. He felt the world narrow to breath and beat. A shot cracked. Not loud. Sharp. Clean. A man far away dropped as if strings had been cut. Another followed before his body hit. Then a third. The rooftop went quiet. Enemies melted into alleys. The wind eased. Michael felt the hair on his neck settle. He looked again to the tower. The shooter did not move. The spotter lifted a small brass round. He kissed it and slipped it back into a pouch. 1 shot, John whispered. Then he stopped. He knew the rule. Do not speak names. Do not speak numbers. Do not speak distance. They exfiltrated before dawn. Rain finally came. It washed the blood to the drains and the dust to a slick paste that clung to their boots. Michael said nothing on the ride back. He stared at his hands. He felt the ridges of callus from rope, rifle, steel. He remembered the tiny brass token. He wondered how far that shot had been. He did not ask. Morning. Naval Base Coronado. Fluorescent lights hummed in a quiet corridor. Emma Cole walked alone toward the ammunition depot. Her cane clicked once every 3rd step. Not a limp. A reminder. An old blast. A new life. She keyed the door, stepped inside, and breathed the cool smell of oil and seal crates. She loved this place. Order held here. Numbers lined up. Labels matched. No one bled on the floor. Her hair was tied back. Her sleeves were rolled. She set her coffee on the steel bench and opened the day's first crate. Sniper ammunition. Precision rounds. Foam cutouts. Each casing bright and perfect. Emma worked slow. Cloth in one hand. Magnifier in the other. She polished. She checked serials. She logged. The rhythm calmed her. Wipe. Turn. Inspect. Note. Repeat. Outside, boots clacked on concrete. A door thudded. Voices moved past and faded. One round sat a little apart. Not by much. Enough to notice if you respected the work. Emma did. She lifted it. The brass felt warmer. Heavier. Maybe her mind. Maybe not. She held it to the light. The case gleamed like a mirror. The base wore normal stamps. Date. Batch. Maker. She rotated it slowly. Something tiny caught the glare. So small it could be a scratch. Or it could be a secret. The door opened behind her. Footsteps stopped. She did not turn. Morning. A man said. Morning. Emma answered. She kept the round steady. Michael Rios, he said. Chief. Just looking around. Emma Cole, she said. Petty officer. Inventory led. He stepped closer. She smelled rain on his jacket and the clean bite of gun oil. His eyes moved like a scanner. Floors. Doors. Hands. Exits. Then the round. That one, he said softly. Emma lowered the magnifier. This batch is excellent, she said. But this piece is placed odd. May I, he asked. She passed it to him. His fingers found the weight as if they had always known it. He rolled it once. Twice. He stopped at the base. He angled it into the light. His jaw tightened. His shoulders squared. Emma leaned in. Quality issue? No, he said. Not that. What then? He turned around so she could see a thin crescent near the rim. Letters, smaller than dust, hid in the edge of the brass. She held her breath. The room seemed to shrink around her. The hum of the lights grew louder. Read it, Michael said. She tried. The marks blurred. She blinked. The words snapped into view. For tiny words, cut so fine they felt like a whisper. Her pulse kicked. Michael set the round down with careful hands. He did not step back. He did not smile. The lights hummed. The air felt colder. Where did you get this crate? He asked. Emma looked at the log. Her mouth went dry. Her pen tapped the page. The round sat between them like a held breath. Outside, the wind rose and pressed against the door. Rain tapped the windows of the depot. Emma sat rigid at her desk, the round still gleaming under the light. Her fingers hovered near it, but refused to touch. The 4 tiny words burned in her mind, etched sharper than the brass itself. Michael paced slow circles. His boots echoed across the polished floor. He didn't look at her, only at the walls, the exits, the shadows. He moved like a man expecting trouble to step through the door any second. You've seen those words before, Emma said at last. Michael stopped, his eyes locked on hers. He didn't nod. He didn't deny. Silence spoke louder. Tell me, she pressed. He leaned on the table. His calloused hand brushed around but didn't lift it. His voice dropped. I can't. You already said too much, Emma said. Her tone was even, but her heart hammered. Michael exhaled, long and tired. Some things aren't in reports. They're passed as whispers. You don't want to carry them. I'm already carrying it. Emma shot back. She tapped the brass. It's in my log. It's in my hands. It's in my head. So either tell me what it means, or I start filing questions up the chain. And you know where that ends. Michael's jaw flexed. He looked to the ceiling, then back at her. 1 shot. 1 mile. He said the phrase like a confession. It marks a kill. Not ordinary. Not training. Not chance. A confirmed mile kill. Emma blinked. She swallowed. The words fell heavy. That far. Further than most can even see, he said. Only a handful on Earth can do it. Her throat dried. She looked again at the round, now less like metal, more like a relic. Why would it be here? She asked. Michael didn't answer. He checked the corners again, restless. Then he leaned closer. Someone placed it. Someone wanted it noticed. The overhead light flickered once. Both of them froze. The hum returned, steady, but the moment stuck like a warning. Footsteps sounded in the hall. Crisp, purposeful, not the shuffle of clerks, not the chatter of recruits. A single stride, strong, precise. Emma instinctively slid the round back into the foam cutout, hand trembling. She shut the lid of the crate just as the door opened. A woman stepped inside. Black uniform. Cold eyes. Rank bars gleamed on her collar. She shut the door behind her with a soft click. Petty Officer Cole, she said. Her voice cut like glass. Chief Rios, I hear you've been busy. Emma's gut tightened. She rose to attention. Lieutenant Commander? The woman walked to the table. hands clasped behind her back. She scanned the room in one sweep, her gaze sharp enough to peel layers from steel. "I want to see the crate," she said. Emma hesitated, then obeyed. She lifted the lid. The brass caught the light, all ordinary except the one. The commander's eyes found it instantly. She bent, lifted the round, turned it once, twice. She stopped on the inscription. Her lips moved. She whispered the words. 1 shot, 1 mile. Emma felt the air thin. Michael's hand slid to his belt, not for his weapon, for calm, for readiness. "You recognize it," Emma said softly. The commander set the round back down. She faced them, her expression unreadable. "This doesn't belong here, and neither of you should have seen it. Then why is it here?" Michael asked. The commander's eyes narrowed. "That's what I intend to find out." Silence stretched. The rain outside grew harder, drumming on glass. Emma finally spoke. "What happens now?" The commander looked straight at her. "Now, petty officer, you start checking every crate in this facility, one by one, and you do not stop until I say you're done." Emma's chest tightened. She nodded once. Michael leaned in, whispering so only she could hear. "If there's one, there are more." Emma's hands trembled as she reached for the next crate. The lock clicked open. The foam inside gleamed. Rows of rounds, identical, flawless. But one casing near the corner sat slightly off-center. The commander's shadow fell over the table. Emma reached for it. Her fingers brushed brass. Another inscription waited. Her breath caught. The storm outside roared louder. The storm hammered harder, as if the sky itself wanted in. Emma held the second round between trembling fingers. The brass was slick under her touch, warm like it carried a heartbeat. She turned it toward the light. Tiny markings shone near the rim. Words, numbers, coordinates. The commander leaned in, her face inches away. Her voice was calm, too calm. "Read it." Emma's lips moved. Crimson dawn. She paused. "And coordinates." Michael's eyes darkened. He recognized them before she finished. He shut his mouth and looked away. "You know where that is," Emma said, her voice sharp. Michael didn't answer. He stepped back, pacing, jaw tight. The commander's gaze shifted to him. "Chief Rios, speak." He exhaled hard. Crimson Dawn was no exercise. It was a kill mission. Target never made the news. No paperwork. No record. His hand brushed his temple. "Only ghosts know." Emma's stomach turned. She placed the round on the table. The brass clicked against steel like a gavel. The commander's eyes narrowed. 2 commemorative rounds in one facility. That means intent. Someone's leaving a trail. Or a warning. Michael said. The room seemed smaller, the air heavier. The fluorescent lights hummed louder than before. Emma wiped sweat from her palms onto her uniform. She wanted to ask why, but she already felt the answer pressing against the silence. "Check again," the commander ordered. Emma obeyed, crate after crate. She lifted rounds, inspected, logged. The rhythm that once calmed her now clawed at her nerves. Each case looked perfect, yet each one might hide another secret carved in brass. Hours blurred. The storm outside waned, but inside the depot tension only thickened. Then Emma froze. Another round. Different batch. Different foam. Same hidden whisper. She lifted it, and her throat went dry. The inscription read, Silent Echo. Michael stepped closer. His voice was low. "I know that name." The commander's head snapped toward him. "Say it." Michael's eyes stayed fixed on the brass. A mission in Syria. Target convoy. Entire column wiped in seconds. Nobody admitted it happened. Nobody wanted the body count on paper. They called it Silent Echo because there were no survivors to speak. Emma's hand shook harder. She nearly dropped the round. Michael steadied her wrist. His hand was firm, grounding. Their eyes met, and for the first time she saw fear in his. The commander scribbled notes, her jaw locked. "This isn't chance. Someone seeded these. Someone wants them found." Emma whispered, "Why here? Why me?" Michael's grip tightened. Not you. Us. They want people who understand, but won't talk. The depot door creaked. All three froze. Boots. Slow. Approaching. Michael moved first, sliding silently toward cover. The commander's hand brushed her sidearm. Emma held the round tight in her palm, as if letting go would betray her. The handle turned. The door swung open. A shadow filled the frame. A figure stepped in, dripping from the rain. A man in civilian clothes, collar up, face calm. His eyes swept the room like he owned it. He looked at Emma's hand first, at the brass, at the words carved in silence. And then he smiled. "Found them, did you?" he said. The commander raised her weapon a fraction. "Identify yourself." The man didn't flinch. "You don't need my name. You already know what I am." Michael's voice was sharp. "Ghost unit." The man's smile widened. Finally, someone remembers. Emma's pulse spiked. Her hand clenched around until it dug into her skin. The man stepped forward. His shoes squeaked on the wet floor. His eyes locked on hers. "Petty officer, those rounds don't belong to you. They belong to us. And we've come to collect." The man closed the door behind him with deliberate calm. The click echoed too loud in the silence. His jacket dripped on the concrete, leaving dark stains that spread like ink. Michael shifted closer to Emma, shoulders squared, eyes unblinking. The commander kept her pistol half raised, aimed at the man's chest. "You'll want to lower that," the stranger said smoothly. "If I came here hostile, none of you would be breathing." His tone carried no brag, just fact. "Prove who you are," the commander demanded. The man reached slowly into his jacket. Michael tensed, hand on his knife, but the stranger pulled out nothing more than a battered brass token, no larger than a coin. He laid it on the table beside the incriminated round. Emma leaned closer. Words etched into the token shimmered under the fluorescent light. "1 shot, 1 mile," she whispered. The stranger nodded. The first, the original. Michael's eyes narrowed. Impossible. That token was lost with the operator. "Not lost," the man said. His gaze darkened. "Hidden. Preserved." The commander took a step forward, weapon steady. "Why here? Why now?" The man's voice dropped. "Because the network is breaking. Someone inside wants the truth buried. We want it remembered." Emma clutched the round tighter. "What truth?" He met her eyes. Cold, direct. That the people you think never existed bled, killed, and died for shadows. That their stories were carved into brass, because paper could never hold them. Michael's chest heaved. His jaw clenched hard. He had heard whispers before, seen fragments, but never proof. And now proof stared back, alive, breathing. "You expect us to just hand these over?" the commander asked. The man smiled faintly. "No, I expect you to choose." He turned, gesturing toward the door. "Walk away. Keep your careers. Forget the brass. Or keep looking, keep uncovering. But understand, if you do, you won't just find stories. You'll find enemies who don't forgive curiosity." Emma's throat tightened. Her voice trembled. "If it's that dangerous, why risk leaving them here at all?" The man's smile faded. "Because legends die in silence. Someone has to remember." The commander lowered her pistol by an inch, not in surrender but in thought. Her eyes flicked between Emma and Michael, measuring, judging. Outside, thunder rolled again. The man stepped closer to Emma. His presence pressed heavy like gravity. He spoke low, only for her. "Petty officer, do you know why you're holding them?" "Not him. Not her. You." Emma shook her head. "Because you notice," he said. "You saw the placement. You saw the mark. Most wouldn't. You did. That makes you chosen." Michael's hand landed firm on her shoulder. "She's not yours." The man's eyes cut to him, sharp as glass. For a second, the air itself seemed to harden. 2 soldiers, different wars, same blood. Then the man stepped back. He lifted his hands, palms open. "Decide fast. The more rounds you find, the louder the silence around you will grow." He moved to the door, pulled it open. Rain hissed in from the storm. He paused, glanced back once. When you find the fourth, he said, you'll understand everything. And then he was gone. The door slammed shut under the weight of the wind. Silence. Just the rain and the hum of lights. Emma's hand shook. She set the round back on the table, then looked at Michael. His jaw was stone, his eyes unreadable. The commander holstered her pistol. You're both in it now, she said flatly. There's no turning back. Emma whispered, the fourth round, what happens when we find it? Michael's voice was low, heavy. If he's telling the truth, the fourth isn't just a story. It's a key. Emma swallowed hard. The storm outside raged. The brass gleamed. And somewhere in the shadows, the fourth round waited. The depot felt colder than before. The storm outside still lashed windows, but it was a silence inside that froze Emma's chest. The stranger's words echoed the fourth round. The commander wasted no time. We search. Now. Her tone cut through the stillness like a blade. Emma nodded, though her hands shook. She pulled the next crate forward. Michael stood close, watching the door as much as the ammunition. His instincts screamed that someone might return. Round after round gleamed in the light. Perfect, clean, ordinary. Yet each one held the weight of possibility. Each one might carry another carved secret. After an hour, Emma's eyes blurred from strain. The repetitive motions, lift, turn, inspect, scraped at her nerves. Then her fingers froze on a round that felt heavier. She tilted it under the lamp. Her breath hitched. Tiny words shimmered on the casing. This one read, Iron Veil. Michael leaned in, jaw clenched. That name I know. Emma's voice cracked. Tell me. He exhaled, slow and grim. Pakistan border. An operation that never existed. Entire bunker destroyed with one shot. The kill rippled through command like thunder. They hushed it fast. Too political. Too dangerous. They called it Iron Veil because no one outside ever saw what happened. The commander's pen scratched against her notebook. Her face betrayed nothing, but her eyes were sharp, burning. 3 rounds. 3 ghosts. Emma set the casing down, her hand trembling. What about the fourth? Michael stared at her, then at the door. If these 3 are here, the fourth is close. But it won't be easy. The last one will be buried deep. They moved faster, searching through sealed crates, locked cabinets, even the hidden compartments where spare inventory sometimes went unnoticed. The depot filled with a metallic scent of brass and oil, the sound of shifting foam, the thud of heavy wood. Then Emma's hand brushed something strange. A crate, tucked in the corner, different from the rest. Dust layered its lid. The lock was newer than the wood, replaced recently. She glanced at Michael. He gave a single nod. She cracked the seal. Inside lay only 1 round. Not a batch. Not a set. Just one. The brass was darker, almost black. The surface bore faint scratches, as though handled many times, passed from hand to hand. Emma lifted it with both palms. She held her breath. She turned it under the light. The inscription was longer, deeper, more deliberate than the others. Her eyes widened as she whispered the words. Final breath. Michael stepped back, his face pale. That's not a call sign. That's a death mark. The commander leaned close, voice low. Explain. Michael's throat tightened. Final breath means the last kill of a sniper who never came back. A round forged to mark their end. Whoever held this died on the field, and their story was buried with them. The weight of the room shifted. Emma stared at the dark brass, her pulse racing. This wasn't recognition. It was memorial. It was a grave marker hidden in plain sight. The commander closed her notebook. Her eyes narrowed. Now we know why he came. This is no collection. This is a ledger. Someone is preserving the dead in brass. Lightning cracked outside, shaking the glass. Emma felt the hairs on her arms rise. She whispered, Why me? Why here? Michael's voice was steady, though his eyes were not. Because someone wanted you to find it. And now that you have, you're in the story. The commander's gaze hardened. This goes beyond us, beyond this base. The moment word spreads about this, People will move. Some will want it silenced. Others will want it exploited. Emma's grip tightened on the round. She felt its cold weight sink into her bones. She couldn't shake the thought that whoever the sniper was, they had wanted to be remembered, not erased, not forgotten. The storm outside began to ease, but the depot stayed heavy with unspoken questions. Michael stepped closer, his voice low, almost a warning.